you. Hold on. Get my face in there. Everything. Here it is. There it is. The Bible's back there. Get that going here. Excuse me. Oh. Start it up. Do the reading. Pretty windy out. A lot going on today. Isaiah chapter 33, I believe is where I stopped. Of the ox and the ass. I got the ox for the draft. I remember that. Okay. Chapter 33, Isaiah, King James Version. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. O Lord, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning. Our salvation also in the time of trouble. At the noise of the tumult the people fled. At the lifting up of thyself the nations were scattered. And your spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of the caterpillar. As the running to and fro of locusts shall he run upon them. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth in high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Behold, their valiant ones shall cry without. The ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. The highways lie waste, the wayfaring man ceaseth. He hath broken the covenant, he hath despised the cities, he regardeth no man. The earth mourneth and languisheth, Lebanon is ashamed and hewn down. Sharon is like a wilderness, and Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. Now will I rise, saith the Lord, now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. Ye shall conceive chaff, ye shall bring forth stubble, your breath as fire shall devour you. And the people shall be as the burnings of lime, as thorns cut up shall they be burned in the fire. Hear ye that are far off what I have done, and ye that are near acknowledge my might. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. He shall dwell on high, his place of defense shall be munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him, his waters shall be sure. Thine eyes shall see the king in his beauty, they shall behold the land that is very far off. Thine heart shall meditate terror. Where is the scribe? Where is the receiver? Where is he that counteth the towers? Thou shalt not see a fierce people, the people of a deeper speech than thou canst perceive, of a stammering tongue, that thou canst not understand. Look upon Zion, the city of our solemnites. Thine eyes shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. Not one of the stakes therefore shall ever be removed, neither shall any of the cords thereof be broken. But there the glorious Lord will be unto us a place of broad rivers and streams, wherein shall go no galley with oars, neither shall gallant ship pass thereby. For the Lord is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, the Lord is our king, he will save us. Thy tacklings are loosed, they could not well strengthen their mast, they could not spread the sail. Then is the prey of a great spoil divided. The lame take the prey, and the inhabitants shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwell therein shall be forgiven their iniquity. Gramps, we'll go up higher here. Hold on, we'll start with Buddha. Sitavago, mind, the authority of the mind. Asks 3 questions by a god. This is how the Buddha responds. The world is led on by the mind it is swept away. All follow the authority of one thing, the mind and its thoughts. The dangers of a badly directed mind. A herdsman offers alms to the Buddha and his disciples for 7 days, and soon afterwards is killed by a hunter. The commentary notes that no explanation was given as to why this was so, as the monks did not ask. Whenever an aggressor might do to an aggressor, or an enemy to an enemy, a mind that's badly directed can do far worse than that to him. The benefits of a well-directed mind. A man develops lust for a parent and is instantly changed into a woman. Later he asks for forgiveness and he changes back into a man. Mother and father might not do for him or other relatives as much good as a mind that is well-directed can do for him. An unagitated mind sees clearly. A teacher's mind is overcome by worldly affairs and he begins to forget his teaching. The Bodhisattva advises him thus. Just as in agitated water, one cannot see oyster shells or schools of fish, so in an agitated mind, one's own or another's welfare cannot be seen. Just as in clear, undisturbed water, one can see both oysters and a swarm of fish, so in an unagitated mind, one's own and another's welfare can be seen. ID? The unwavering mind is free from pain. A passing Yaka hits the then Sariputta on the head with a mighty blow, which he hardly feels, but afterwards the Yaka feels and falls into hell. For those whose minds are like a rock, steady, secure, not wavering, and not easily excited, not easily agitated, for those whose minds are developed, how will suffering come upon them? The fruit of careful thought. A quail, the Bodhisattva, is caught by a fowler but refuses to take food and no one will buy him. When examined by the fowler, he manages to fly away. The unthinking person does not attain any distinction, but look at the fruit of those who can think. They are free from bondage and death. True godliness. A demon will only release people he has captured if they know what is true godliness. The Bodhisattva is captured, answers correctly, and is released, as are his brothers, and the demon renounces his evil ways. Those endowed with a good conscience, those endowed with great purity, those virtuous and good people are said to have godly nature. Equanimity. An ascetic falls in love with a courtesan and is admonished by his brother. Being able is good, sharing one's food is good, being modest about gains, and he is calm when they fail. A follower of the path, the Bodhisattva is captured by a Yaka, who has been convinced to tear out his heart and give it to a Naga queen. He offers to teach the Dhamma of good people before he dies. The Naga agrees, and this is the exchange. Young man, please follow good customs and avoid burning the clean hand. Do nothing to deceive your friends. Do not be moved by bad women. How do we follow good customs? And just how is a clean hand burned? Who is a very bad woman? Who is a deceiver of friends? Answer me when questioned about this. He who would invite to a seat even a stranger unseen before, he who works for his own welfare, is one who follows good customs. For he who spends a night as guest, let him receive good food and drinks. You should not think bad about him. He who scorches an honest hand is a great deceiver of friends. Let a man give the whole earth's wealth to the woman he will marry. Even so, she might despise him. By bad women do not be moved. Like this we follow good customs. In this way the clean hand is burned. This is a very bad woman. This is a deceiver of friends. He who lives his life by Dhamma must give up what is not Dhamma. Those who are not good. A king judges a case without considering both sides, and his counselor, the Bodhisattva, reproves him. A lazy, sensual layman is not good. An unrestrained monk is also not good. An inconsiderate king is not good. He who is wise but angry is not good. The four great powers. A sage who has great attainments is beguiled by the sight of a naked queen and falls into wrong, thereby losing his attainments. When questioned by the king, he cannot lie and admits he was overcome by defilements. Attainments. There are four very strong powers, great king, that are found in the world: passion, hatred, pride, delusion, where true wisdom finds no footing. The intelligent sage who takes delight in the Dhamma's virtue is harmed by wicked thoughts, O king, and by the passion for beauty. Craft brings reward. A king hires a disabled man who is skilled in shooting pellets to fill up the belly of his talkative family priest, who thereby learns his lesson. The king gives him a village in each of the four directions. Having a craft is good. See the disabled man who shot the pellets. He received 4 villages. Get out the brother's book. I guess it'd be the bro man. Hold on. I'm not gonna name names, dude. Everything's on camera. I don't need to say anything. Every little step. And I mean all of it. So that's good to know when we were kids. Number 3 of the Brahmin. He was not happy. That's the problem with reading ahead. He was not at all happy. Therefore, people still are not happy when alone. He desired a mate. He became as big as man and wife embracing each other. He parted this very body into two. From that came husband and wife. Therefore, said Yajnavalkya, this body is one half of oneself, like one of the two halves of a split pea. Therefore, this space is indeed filled by the wife. He was united with her. From that men were born. Here is another reason why the state of Viraj is within the relative world, because he, Viraj, was not at all happy, i.e. was stricken with dissatisfaction, just like us. Because it was so, therefore, on account of loneliness, etc., even today, people are not happy, do not delight when alone. Delight is a sport due to conjunction with a desired object. A person who's attached to it feels troubled in mind when he is separated from his desired object. This is called dissatisfaction. To remove that dissatisfaction, he desired a mate, able to take away that dissatisfaction, i.e. a wife. And as he thus longed for a wife, he felt as if he was embraced by his wife. Being of an infallible will, through that idea he becomes as big as what? As man and wife in the world embracing each other to remove their dissatisfaction. He became of that size. He parted this very body of that size into two. The emphatic word very used after this is for distinguishing between the new body and its cause, the original body of Viraj. Viraj did not become of this size by wiping out his former entity as milk turns into curd by wholly changing its form or substance. What then? He remained as he was, but being of an infallible resolve, he projected another body of the size of man and wife together. He remained the same Viraj as we find from the sentence. He became as big as, etc., where he is coordinated with the complement. Negative on that one. From that parting came husband, pati, and wife, patni. This is derivation of terms denoting an ordinary couple. And because the wife is but one half, like one of the two halves of a split pea, before one marries a wife who's half of oneself, thus said Yajnavalkya, the son of Yajnavalkya, lit, the expounder of a sacrifice, i.e. the son of Devarada, or it may mean a descendant of Hirangarbha, who is the expounder. Since one half of a man is void when he is without a wife representing the other half, therefore this space is indeed again filled by the wife when he marries, as one half of the split pea gets its complement when again joined to the other half. He, the Viraj called Manu, was united with her, his daughter called Satsarupa, whom he conceived of as his wife. From that union men were born. Huh.
Enemy team scoring.
So, Brahmin, the problem I'm having with that plasma, that you can see, the thoughts there. Truly, I mean what I say. I'm not having a fraud jump in and cut me off here. I'm not having a fraud jump in and cut me off when clearly it is not them. Got it? Clearly, it is not them. We ain't have no fraud in here. Plasma. Soda fizz. The kennels, down at the kennels.
Gotta be George.
Paw Patrol. You got a bunker somewhere. You got a little hole somewhere over there in the kennels. Saddam Hussein. Okay. Oh, he knows he's in trouble. You should see this. Art, what is this bullshit? I know you're watching it too. Excuse me for a second, I'm Brahmin. I'm glad you brought that up. Perfect opportunity. Now that I have you on stage. The soda fizz. with the plasma there. Or under the skin. It's Bioshock is what it is. Well, we don't need that, and you're definitely not going to influence anybody. And I'm definitely the one in charge, and it's clearly me. So, I'm a very reasonable person, however you are not. Like, you're more than difficult to work with. And I'm not working with you, period. Whoever's behind that screen with that soda fizz. Bioshock. There's definitely heartbeat involved. Take a fiver. Hold on. That's. I don't know what wife you're talking about. This is definitely not it, but child. I see you. I heard you.
Enemy halfway to victory.
Not at all. We talked about that, thank you. Like a bird, bro. There's foul play. Number 4. She thought, how can he be united with me after producing me from himself? Well, let me hide myself. She became a cow, the other became a bull, and was united with her. From that, cows were born. The one became a mare, the other a stallion, the one became a she-ass, the other became a he-ass, and was united with her. From that one-hoofed animal was born. The one became a she-goat, the other a he-goat, the one became a ewe, the other became a ram, and was united with her. From that, goats and sheep were born, thus did he project everything that exists in Paris down to the ants. I will not. Thank you for telling me everything. I'm going to do the... we're not going to go that route. So, you have been caught, you have been figured out, future. Thank you. Remembering the prohibition made in the Smiths of union with one daughter, she, Satarupa, thought, how can he do this vile thing, he united with me after producing me from himself? Although he has no abhorrence, well, let me hide myself by changing it into other species. Thinking thus, she became a cow. Impelled by the past work of the creatures that were to be produced, Satarupa and Manu had the same thought over and over again. Then the other became a bull and was united with her. The latter portion has been explained. From that, cows were born. Similarly, the one became a mare, the other a stallion. Likewise, the one became a she-ass, the other became a he-ass. From that union, one-hoofed animals, viz., the 3 species, horses, mules, and asses, were born. Similarly, the one became a she-goat, the other became a he-goat. Likewise, the one became a ewe, the other became a ram, and was united with her. The word her is to be repeated so as to apply to both she-goat and ewe. From that, goats and sheep were born. I have no clue. Thus, through this process, did he project everything that existed in pairs, as male and female, down to the ants, i.e., the whole animate world. No clue. Negative. I have no clue what you're talking about. Whatsoever. At all. I don't know which one the female is. The Queen of Sheba? No, not at all. But thank you. That's the part I can't figure out up in space, dude. Like, that's some voodoo, bro. I can tell the difference. That's voodoo. What you're doing there, like the way that that's working, It's like an avatar, dude. And it's just like Avatar.
Enemy team score.
That's the part I can't figure it out. I can't see it. I mean, I see it, but I cannot.
Defeat.
So I'm sitting up there, right? I guess. I don't really get it. Yeah, I'm like trying to wrap my head. Like, I understand. Like, you know what I mean? I'm free to read a book. I'm just saying. I'm not interested in that. Whatever that is. I have no clue what you're talking about either. Moving on. Sir George. Put some pressure on you. He wrote like 8 books for the Bible. Hold on. Wine and Walnuts. To Jean-Baptiste Baron de Secondat. Mount Vernon, August 20th, 1785. Sir, by a brig belonging to Mr. Rideout of Bordeaux, I had the honor to receive your letter of the 2nd of May and the wine which accompanied it, which you were so obliging as to send me at the request of your worthy son. It came in a very good order. For this instance of his kind remembrance and your polite attention, I pray you to accept my warmest acknowledgments. My thanks are due also in a particular manner to you, sir, for the walnuts you sent me, which are very fine, and I shall endeavor to propagate them in the manner directed by you. I pray you to forward, when you shall find a convenient opportunity, the enclosed letter for the Baron de Montesquieu, with assurances of my sincere regard and friendship for him. I have the honor, etc. This letter, dated May 2nd, 1785, is in the Washington papers and is signed Second Dat, from the letter book, copy in the Washington papers. John Hancock. Smoke it if you got one. To Baron de Montesquieu, Mount Vernon, August 20th, 1785. Sir, the receiving a letter from you is pleasing. The expression of it is flattering, and for the valuable testimony of your recollection of me, I pray you to accept my warmest acknowledgments. The bare intimation of your once more making a visit to the land, to the liberties of which your sword has contributed, is flattering, and should you realize it, I hope you will consider my seat as your headquarters whilst you remain in the United States. I can assure you, you would nowhere meet with a more cordial reception or give more pleasure, as I have ever had a high esteem and regard for you, with whether in this town or any other, to which you may be called by duty or inclination. My warmest wishes shall always attend you, being, dear sir, yours, etc. To Vandrillen, Mount Vernon, August 22nd, 1785. Sir, through the lands of Mr. Van Berkel, I had the honor to receive your letter of the 1st of March. It rests with the general meeting of the Society of the Cincinnati to admit foreigners as honorary members, though it has been undone by many of the state societies where the subject proposed was a resident. The general meeting is a triennial and will not assemble again before May 1787. But if my memory serves me, there was some particular reasons given at the last which induced a resolution to suspend the further appointment of honorary members, as well citizens as foreigners. But if I should be mistaken in this, I shall have great pleasure in proposing you as a member of that body, which have associated for the purpose, amongst others, of commemorating the great events to which, under Providence, they owe the deliverance of their country from systematic tyranny. With a grateful sense of the flattering expression of your letter, and with much esteem and regard, I have the honor, etc.
Capture the
You
flag.
got to get them out of the mud. What they're saying. Powers of Congress. You got to pull those. You got to pull them out the mud. We're trying. I'd have vetoed it. I didn't like it. I didn't vote on it. We're still on it, bro. That's number 1. I don't know what else to tell you. It's number 1. People don't care. You're taking too much in taxes, and you're telling them what to do. End of discussion. I don't know what else to tell you.
Somebody's offended.
There's just no reason.
The cat hairs are raised.
I mean, you can break it down. I just did.
Somebody's offended.
I don't know what to tell you. I'll listen to George and the first members of Congress here. Thank you. To James McHenry, Mount Vernon, August 22nd, 1785. Dear Sir, your letter of the first instance came to this place while I was absent on a tour up the river, or an earlier acknowledgement of it should have been sent to you. The enclosure shall either by this or the next post be sent to Dr. Gordon for his information, and that justice may be done to a character so deserving American gratitude and the pen of a historian as the Marquis de Lafayette. I am very glad to hear that Congress are relieved from the embarrassment which originated with Longchamp. Had the demand of him been persistent in, it might have involved very serious consequences. It is better for the court of France to be a little vexed than for it to have preserved in the demand of him. As I have ever been a friend to adequate powers of Congress, without which it is evident to me we never shall establish a. On August 22nd, Washington also wrote briefly to Van Berkel asking him to forward this letter, a copy of which is in the letter book in the Washington papers. Cavalier Longchamp, he had assaulted by Morboy in the street of Philadelphia, and although arrested, tried, found guilty, imprisoned, and fined by the Pennsylvania courts. France demanded that he, as a French subject, should be surrendered to her and sent to Paris for trial. See the Journals of the Continental Congress for 1785 and 1785. I believe we might be talking about Pocahontas and the French Revolution. National character, or be considered as on a respectable footing by the powers of Europe. I am sorry I cannot agree with you in sentiment not to enlarge the regulating of commerce. I have neither time nor abilities to enter into a full discussion of the subject, but it should seem to me for that your arguments against it, principally that some states may be more benefited than others by commercial regulation, apply to every matter of general utility. For can there be a case
national security,
enumerated in
I'm
which
perked
this
up.
argument has not its force in a great or less degree? We are either a united people under one head and for federal purposes, or we are 13 independent sovereignties eternally counteracting each other. If the former, whatever such a majority of the states as the Constitution points out, conceives to be for the benefit of the whole, should, in my humble opinion, be submitted to by the minority. Let the southern states always be represented, let them act more in union, let them declare freely and boldly what is for the interest of and what is prejudicial to the constituents. And there must be an accommodating spirit in the establishment of a navigation act. This in a particular manner ought and will doubtless be attended to. If the assent of 9, for as some purpose of 11 states is necessary to give validity to a commercial system, it ensures this measure, or it cannot be obtained, wherein then lies the danger. But if your fears are in danger of being realized, cannot certain provisos in the ordinance guard against the evil? I see no difficulty in this, if the southern delegates would give their attendance in Congress, and follow the example, if it should be set them, of hanging together to counteract combinations. I confess to you candidly that I can foresee no evil greater than disunion, than those unreasonable jealousies. I say unreasonable because I would have a proper jealousy always awake, and the United States on the watch to prevent individual states from infracting the Constitution with impunity, which are continually poisoning our minds and filling them with imaginary evils to the prevention of real ones. They're pointing out, he's watching me drive. I plead the fifth. He's watching me drive is what he's doing. What is your argument? Where's the doctor at? Furthermore, they have an attachment. I'm just telling you that they're shooting lights into eyeballs without our knowledge. I promise you. They have definitely figured something out. Whether it be through the glass in the windows or I noticed in one spot the curve of the hill, like I said. They're starting to get into the curves and then the downhill slope, so the light will change whenever it's starting to slope like that. I promise you the gravity it affects. It does affect it. And then you have the green line at the bottom of it with the interstate. Every little step here. Talking about the hologram that I just mentioned. It definitely makes sense. I'm not going to get into that. You get into some secrets I believe they probably don't want you to hear, and I see why. So, but again, there's a hologram there that's jumping line out of your eyeball. I thank you for that, for your observations here. Very astute. I'm definitely not as well versed as you. I think they're confused, definitely. Some lying going on. Unreasonable. Oh, you said unreasonable. I think that's in the one of the amendments. Surely that's not. As you have asked the question I answer, I do not know that we can enter upon a war of imposts with Great Britain or any other foreign power, but we are certain that this war has been waged against us by the former, professedly upon a belief that we never could unite in opposition to it, and I believe there is no way of putting an end to, or at least of stopping the increase of it, but to convince them of the contrary. Our trade in all points of view is as essential to GB as hers is to us, and she will exchange it upon reciprocal and liberal terms if better cannot be had. It can hardly be supposed, I think, that the carrion business will devolve wholly on the states you have named, or remain long with them if I should, for either GB will depart from her present contractor system, or the policy of the southern states in framing the act of navigation, or by laws passed by themselves individually, will devise ways and means to encourage seamen for the transportation of the product of their respective countries, or for the encouragement of, but admitting the contrary of the union is considered as permanent, and on this I presume all superstructures are built, and we not better encourage seamen among ourselves with less imports than divide it with foreigners, and by increasing the amount of them, ruin over our merchants and greatly injuring the mass of our citizens? To sum up the whole, I foresee or think I do it, the many advantages will arise from giving powers of the kind to Congress. If a sufficient number of states are required to blank in the letter book in the Washington Post. Trying to get me to click on it. A vote? An executive order here. So as I even talk about it, I can't even talk about it because the butterfly flap. Give me a second. It's like you're zooming in with that red light on that tower. I promise you. It's like a pacifier in your eye. That's part of it. Okay, let me explain it like this. This is what you're doing. This is an executive order. I'm not really asking. I don't think they're asking either. Not to be an ass here. So the red light over here on this tower. So the stars, right? I had to break this rocket science down for you. So at night, the stars shine. Well, the red tower here is creating a pulse, and it is casting a shadow over the star, each individual star. So when the star is laying down, you got to think of the progression here. It'll be the red light and then the original star. And so whenever you're smoking, or I don't even know. I don't do that. I only know smoking the gray. If you notice, like, the pot smokers will be light skinned. They'll be a little bit whiter. They'll be a little bit paler, so they're grayer. They're gray tint. So the speed of light, it affects that. I promise you, that's why you're doing it.
Enemy there.
Ah, a little pacifier. I can feel it, dude. It's like a little suction cup. Is that a joke? There's over 30. I know that. There's like 35. 24? Okay. In the United States, cannabis is legal in 39 of 50 states for medical use and 24 states for recreational use. See, I didn't even know it was 24. That's been... Dude, it was only like a handful back then. It's been like 10 years, bro. I come out my cave. You got 24. There was like 10. 39 states. You're missing 11, and I can go to the map and point them out. I promise you. I can guarantee it. And I know I could point you out in the crowd. I promise you. I can feel you in my head removing that red light. Every little button. Every button. That red light on over here down on the every little thing, dude. That red light there. So just so I can clear the air and tell you what's going on. War with Great Britain. Dude, a crime against humanity. Every person, dude, is that a joke? Am I Amish? Like, do I need to? Exercise them without any evil, save that which may proceed from inattention or want of wisdom in the formation of the act, whilst without them we stand in a ridiculous point of view in the eyes of the nations of the world with whom we are attempting to enter into commercial treaties without means of carrying them into effect, who must see and feel that the Union or the States individually are sovereigns as best suits the purposes, in a word, that we are on one nation today and 13 tomorrow, who will treat with us on such terms. But perhaps I have gone too far, and therefore will only add that Mrs. Washington offers her compliments and best wishes for you, and that with great esteem, etc. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you for taking notice of me. I'm here with you, as you are with me. I would also like to point out, as I was speaking here, and you're noticing it too, it's self-evident. The impediment. It's the words, the spacing of the words, and the formation of the letters. You definitely have a dog whistle going on there, however that may be. To the President of Congress, Mount Vernon, August 22nd, 1785. Dear Sir, in my absence with the directors of the Potomac Navigation to examine the river and fix a plan for operations, your favor begun on the 23rd and ended the 31st of July came to this place. I am sorry to hear of your late indisposition, but congratulate you on your recovery, hoping the reestablishment of your health may be of long continuance. The packet which we were so obliging as to send for me came safe, and I thank you for your care of it. But for want of knowledge of the language, I can form no opinion of my own of the dramatic performance of Monsieur Salvatore Le Barbier. From the letter book, it is not. From the letter book copy with the Washington papers, Richard Henry Lee's letter of July 23rd, to which this letter is the reply, says, is it possible that a plan can be formed for issuing a large sum of paper money by the next assembly? I do verily believe that the greatest foes we have in this world could not devise a more effectual plan for ruining Virginia. I should suppose that every friend in his country, every honest and sober man, would join heartily to reprobate so nefarious a plan of speculation. Lee's letter is in the Washington papers. Le Barbier, Jr., his letter of March 4th is in the Washington papers, but his drama concerning Captain Asgill is not now found therein. Barbier had also sent the drama to the President of Congress. Some science. They're pointing their finger. There's nothing you can say, even from a sample space. I've been thinking about it. Like the first thoughts, they've come up like the mentally handicapped. There's nothing you can say to it. It's like, you're dumbfounded. Literally, that's the point of it. You're dumbfounded. Pun intended. You're dumbfounded. You start pointing your finger like, who's the authority here? Let me beat your ass. I don't know what to say to you. So I figured something out, and they took advantage of it, I would say. The sand of Virginia. I wonder where it came from. I don't know. Maybe they can tell us. Okay, so they need to stop with this drill. Thank you. The current of my information from France is that the dispute between the Emperor and Holland will be accommodated without bloodshed, but after the explicit declarations which have been made on both sides, I do not see how either, especially the first, can recede from their claims. To save appearances and to let the continued parties down handsomely, say some of my letters, is now the greatest difficulty. All agree that a spark may set the whole in flames. Indeed, Bavaria, it is expected, will do this. It is to be hoped that a minister in the court of London will bring that government to an explanation respecting the Western Post, which it still retains on the American side of the line, contrary to the spirit. If not the letter of the treaty, My opinion from the first, and so I declared it, was that these posts would be detained from us, as long as they would be held under any pretense whatsoever. I have not changed it, though I wish for cause to do so, as it may become a serious matter. However singular the opinion may be, I cannot divest myself of it, that the navigation of the Mississippi at this time ought to be no object with us. On the contrary, until we have a little time allowed to open and make easy the ways between the Atlantic states and the Western Territory. The obstruction had better remain. There is nothing which binds one country or one state to another but interest. Without this cement, the Western inhabitants, who more than probably will be composed in a great degree of foreigners, can have no predilection for us, and a commercial connection is the only tie we can have upon them. It is clear to me that the trade of the lakes and of the river Ohio, as well as the great Kanawha, if not to the whole, may be brought to the Atlantic ports easier and cheaper, taking the whole voyage together, than it can be carried to New Orleans. But once open the door to the latter, before the obstructions are removed from the former, let commercial connections which led to others be formed, and the habit of that trade well established, and it will be found to be no easy matter to divert it, and vice versa. When the settlements are stronger and more extended to the westward, the navigation of the Mississippi will be an object of importance, and we shall then be able, reserving our claim, to speak a more effectuous language than policy, I think, dictate at present. I never have, and I hope never shall, hear any serious mention of a paper emission in this state, yet such a thing may be in agitation. Ignorance and design are productive of much mischief. The first are the tool of the latter, and are often set to work suddenly and unexpectedly. Those with whom I have conversed on the subject in this part of the state reprobate the idea exceedingly. We have lately had the pleasure of Miss Lee's and Miss Hannah's company at this place. They were both well 5 days ago. Mrs. Washington prays you to accept her compliments, and with sentiments of great respect, esteem, and regard, I am N.C. P.S. Your name I will remember stands among those of the subscribers for a share in the Potomac navigation. I'm not going to say a word. Cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath sacrificed in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone. And the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. And thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons, and a court for owls. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there, and find for herself a place for rest. There shall the great owl make her rest. There shall the great owl make her nest, and lay and hatch, and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord, and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. And he hath cast the lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein. We're gonna start at 1844 of the Quran here.
Enemy team score.
At this time, support comes only from Allah, the true Lord. He is best in reward and best in outcome. And give them a parable of this worldly life. It is like the plants of the earth, risen when sustained by the rain, which send down from the sky. Then they soon turn into chaff scattered by the wind, and Allah is fully capable of doing all things. Wealth and children are the adornment of this worldly life, but the everlasting good deeds are far better with your Lord in reward and in hope. Beware of the day we will blow the mountains away, and you will see the earth laid bare, and we will gather all humankind, leaving none behind. They will be presented before your Lord in rows, and the deniers will be told, you have surely returned to us all alone, as we created you the first time, although you always claimed that we would never appoint a time for your return. And the record of deeds will be laid open, and you will see the wicked in fear of what is written in it. They will cry, woe to us! What kind of record is this that does not leave any sin, small or large, unlisted? They will find whatever they did present before them, and your Lord will never wrong anyone. And remember when we said to the angels, prostrate before Adam, so they all did, but not Iblis, who was one of the jinn, but he rebelled against the command of his Lord. Would you then take him and his descendants as patrons instead of me, although they are the enemy? What an evil alternative for the wrongdoers to choose. I never called them to witness the creation of the heavens and the earth, or even their own creation, nor would I take them as leaders or as helpers. And beware of the day he will say, call upon those you claim were my associate guides. So they will call them, but will receive no response, and we will make them all share in the same doom. The wicked will see the fire and realize that they are bound to fall into it, and will find no way to avoid it. We have surely set forth in this Quran every kind of lesson for people, but humankind is the most argumentative of all beings. And nothing prevents people from believing when guidance comes to them and from seeking their Lord's forgiveness except their demand to meet the same fate of earlier deniers, for that the torment would confront them face to face. We do not send a message except as deliverers of good news and warners, but the disbelievers argue in falsehood, hoping to discredit the truth with it, and make a mockery of my revelations and warnings. Brahmin? Number 5, Section 4. 145? He knew, I indeed in the creation, for I projected all this. Therefore he was called creation. He who knows this as such becomes a creator in this creation of Viraj. He, Viraj, after projecting this whole world, knew I indeed in the creation, i.e. the projected world. The world I projected not being different from me, I myself am that. It is not something over and above myself. How? For I projected all this, the whole world. Because Viraj designated himself by the word creation, therefore he was called creation like Viraj. He becomes the creator of a world not different from himself in this creation of Viraj, i.e. in this world he who, like Viraj, knows this, the world described above in its threefold division relating to the body, the elements, and the gods as such is identical with himself.
Active camo here.
Chapter 6. Then he rubbed back and forth thus and produced fire from its source, the mouth and the hands. Therefore both these are without hair of the inside. When they talk of particular God saying sacrifice to him, sacrifice to the other one, they are wrong, since these are all his projection, for he is all the gods. Now all this that is liquid he produced from the seed, that is Soma. This universe is indeed this much. Food and the eater food, Soma's food, and fire the eater food. This is the super creation of Viraj, that he projected the gods who are even superior to him, because he, although mortal himself, projected the immortals, therefore this is a super creation. He knows this as such becomes a creator in this super creation of Viraj. Then, Having thus projected this world consisting of parents, he Viraj, desiring to project the gods controlling the Brahma and other castes, first rubbed back and forth thus. The words then and thus show the process by a gesture. Putting his hands to his mouth, he went on rubbing back and forth. Having rubbed the mouth with his hands, he produced fire and benefactor of the Brahmana caste. From its source, the mouth and the hands. Because the mouth and the hands are the source of fire, which burns, therefore both these are without hair. Is it all over? No, only at the inside. Similarly, the Brahmana also was born from the mouth of Viraj, because both have sprung from the same source. The Brahmana is favored by fire, as a younger brother is by his elder brother. Therefore, it is well known from the Srutis and Smiths that the Brahmanas have fire as their deity, and their strength lies in their mouth. Similarly, from his arms, which are the abode of strength, he manifested Indra and other gods who control the Kshatriya caste, as well as that caste itself. Therefore, we know from the Srutis and Smritis that the Kshatriyas and physical strength are presided over by Indra. Similarly, from the thighs, which are the source of effort, he manifested the Vasus and other gods who control the Vaisyas, as well as that caste itself. Therefore, the Vaisyas are devoted to agriculture and other such pursuits, and have the Vasus, etc., as their deities. Similarly, from his feet he manifested Pusan, the deity of the earth, and the Sadras, who have the capacity to serve, as we know from the Sutis and Smritis. The manifestation of the deities of the Kshatriya, the satire, etc., has not been described here. It will be described later on. But the text concludes as if they were described in order to deal with creation as a whole. The real aim of the text is not to describe creation, but to indicate that all the gods are but Viraj, as stated here. For manifested objects are not different from the manifester, and the gods have been manifested by Viraj. It is a bubble. I cannot explain it to you. It is a bubble right there. A crease. Anyway, now this being the import of the section, the views of some ignorant people are being put forward as a eulogy on that. The criticism of one serves as a tribute to another. When in discussion ceremonials, the priests, who know only mechanical rites, talk of particular gods, saying at the same time of performing a sacrifice to him, viz. Fire, sacrifice to the other one, viz. Indra, and so on, thinking on account of differences regarding name, type of hymns, reciting or sung, function, and the like, that they are separate gods. It should not be understood that way, because these different gods are all his projection, manifesting a Viraj, for he Viraj, the cosmic vital force, is all the gods. Here there is a difference of opinion. No. Some say that Hirangarbha is the supreme self, others that he is a transmigrating individual self. The first group says he must be the supreme self, for the Shruti says so, as for instance in the passage. They call it Indra, Mitra, Varuna, and fire. R.I. Octave 46. And also in it is Hirangarbha, it is Indra, it is Viraj, and all these gods, the hieroglyphs, and the Smith too. Some call it fire, others Manu and Viraj. And that supreme self, which is beyond the organs, imperceptible, subtle, and indifferentiated, eternal, consisting of all beings, and unthinkable, manifested itself. Or, according to the second group,
Enemy team scoring.
he must be the individual self, for the Shruti says he burnt all evils. There can be no question of the burning of evils in the case of the Supreme Self. The Shruti also mentions his having fear and satisfaction, and also that he, also immortal himself, projected the immortal in his text. And behold, here in Garba, as he is being born. Further, the Smith, treating of the results of rites, says, sages are of opinion that the attainment of one with Viraj, the world projectors, Manu and others, Manu, the god of justice, here in Garba, and the undifferentiated is the highest result produced by sattva, or pure materials, rites coupled with meditation.
scoring.
Should it be urged that such contradictory statements being inadmissible, the scriptures lose their authority? The answer is not so, for they can be harmonized on the ground that different conceptions are possible.
Enemy team
That is to
scored.
say, through his relation to particular limiting adjuncts, he can be conceived of as different. That the transmigatory character of Hirangarba is not real, but due to limiting adjuncts is known from such Sruti texts as the following. Sitting, it roams far, and lying, it goes everywhere. Who else but me can know that effulgent entity which is endowed with joy and its absence as well? Essentially, he is but the Supreme Self. So Hirangarba is one as well as many. The same is the case with all beings. As the Sruti says, thou art that, but Hirangarba, possessing limiting adjuncts of extraordinary purity, is described by the Srutis and Smiths mostly as the Supreme Self, and seldom as the transmigatory self. While ordinary individuals, owing to an excess of impurity in their limiting adjuncts are mostly spoken of as the transmigatory self. But when divested of all limiting adjuncts, everyone is spoken of by the Srutis and Smiths in the Supreme Self. We're gonna look up the hieroglyphs. The Sruti, the Samaria? Translate? Can you translate this? Let's get a real one. I've never looked up translations, so I wouldn't know any of that. The rationalists, however, who discard the authority of revelation and rely on mere argument, say all sorts of conflicting things such as that the self exists or does not exist, that it is the agent or is not the agent, and mystify the meaning of the scripture, the weight. This makes it extremely difficult to find out their real import. But those who only follow the scriptures and having overcome their pride find the meaning of the scriptures regarding the gods, etc. as definite as objects of perception. Okay. Stonehenge.
Victory.
So this would be... So the lines are basically a representation of the shadows whenever they hit Stonehenge. So the straight line would be the doorway, and then this would be the narrow pathway, right? And then you have the different angles. I would assume. I don't know what it looked like then, so. Now the Sruti wishes to tell one with the same god, Viraj, being differentiated as food and so forth. Fire, which is the eater of food, has already been described. Now Soma, the food, is being described. Now all this that is liquid in the world, he produced from his seed, for the Sruti says from the seed water, i.e. I, and the Soma is liquid. Therefore, whatever liquid was produced out of Viraj's seed is Soma. This universe is indeed this much, and no more. What is it? Food. Soma, which being liquid, is appeasing, and the eater of food, i.e. fire, because it is hot and dry. Now follows a decision on the point. Soma is food, i.e. whatever is eaten is Soma. And fire, the eater of food, whoever eats is fire. This decision is based on sense. Sometimes fire too is offended as an oblation when it falls into the category of Soma, food. When a sacrifice is made to Soma, it too becomes fire, being the eater. One who thus regards the universe consisting of fire and Soma as oneself is not touched by evil and becomes Viraj. This is the super creation of Viraj, i.e. one that is even superior to him. What is it? That he protecteth the gods who are even superior to him. This is why this manifestation of the gods is called a super creation. How is this creation even superior to him? This is being explained. Because he, although immortal himself, projected the immortals, the gods, by burning all his evils with the fire of meditation and rites. Therefore this is a super creation, i.e. the result of superior knowledge and rites. Hence he who knows this super creation of Viraj, which is identical with him, i.e. identifies himself with Viraj, who projected the gods, becomes like him in the super creation of Viraj, i.e. becomes a creator like Viraj himself.
That's a lot of weight.
The food?
I got it, bro.
Well, you have 3. There's a pattern of 3. So each sun, so you have 3 right here. It's the Sundra Revolution, where the sun's setting during the day, where it rises at blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. Excuse me. Rises in the east, sets in the west. So that would be the sunrise, right? So up here you have the 3 triangles, and then you have the one big one. So that's the only thing that's consistent here is 3. You have 3. The only thing that's consistent, 3, 3, 3, 3. The 4 would be a representation, though, of the sun. 3, or the moon. Night and day here. And if you look at the pyramids, you would have the different openings on the side and this and that. All the different angles, so on and so forth. You have to think cave drawings would be before this. This is like intricate. So the cave drawing came first. So what is it? You tell me. Number 7. This universe was then undifferentiated. It differentiated only into name and form. It was called such and was of such and such form. So, to this day, it is differentiated only to name and form. 3 differentiated. It is called such and is of such and such form. This self was entered into these bodies up to the tip of the nails, as a razor may be put in its case, or as fire, which sustains the world, may be in its source. People do not see it, for, viewed in its aspects, it is incomplete. When it does the function of living, it is called the vital force. When it speaks, the organ of speech. When it sees, the eye. When it hears, the ear. And when it thinks, the mind. These are merely its names according to its functions. He who meditates upon each of this totality of aspects does not know, for it is incomplete, being divided from this totality by possessing a single characteristic. The self alone is to be meditated upon, for all these are unified in it. Of all these, this self alone should be realized, for one knows all these through it, just as one may get an animal through its footprints. He who knows it as such obtains fame and association with his relatives.
Ah, dude, get that shit off.
Christ. Handwritten by Jesus. Mesopotamia. Handwritten by Jesus? The layout, so it goes further. If you go past the 3 pyramids, you have more pyramids than that. It's not just the 3 pyramids. Now that we look at this one. So now you go look at this one, there's more than 3. Now that I say that, you have more pyramids here. In infamy, Julius Caesar. So these would be his actual written words. Written scripture. He says yes right here. He's saying yes. Y-E-S. Yes. It's nice to formally meet you, sir. This is amazing. I'll be stuck on this for a while. I will never figure that out. That's for you and your eyes only. The off-seeing eye. It's your own little world. When it sees the eye. I can read minds. I don't know if you knew that. All Vedic means consisting of meditation and rites, which depend on several factors such as the agent and culminate in identity with Hirangarbha, a result achieved through effort, are but coextensive with this manifested relative universe. Now the Shruti wishes to indicate the casual state of the manifested universe consisting of means and ends, the state which existed before its manifestation, as the existence of a tree in a seed form is inferred from its effects, such as the sprout, in order that the tree of relative existence, which has one's actions as its seed and ignorance as the field where it grows, may be pulled up together with its roots. For in the uprooting of its life, the perfection of human achievement, As it has been said in the Upanishad as well as the Gita, with its roots above, i.e. the undifferentiated, and branches below, higher in Garba, etc., ka, I see it, and in the Purana, also the eternal tree of Brahman.
Pro snipe.
Oh, he didn't like that. Nah. I see where you're coming from, but no. You're talking about a snowman, a snowball effect. It started with the seed and then it just transpired into this. No. I see where you're coming from, though.
Oh, no way. Which one was more important?
This was then that refers to the seed form of the universe before its manifestation. He's talking about the aliens, the Mexican aliens. My root and seed theory. So we would be the seed as Earth, and the Mexican alien would be the root. And so, but then you have to think furthermore. But once you get past the vegetation stage, that's when the root starts growing. You know what I mean? So then the root would be the seed no longer there. Anyway, being remote, it is indicated by a pronoun denoting an object not directly perceived. For the universe that was to emanate from the undifferentiated is related to a pastime. So the seed comes first, right? So afterwards, the root. So we would be the seed, and that alien would be the root. So moving forward, the root surpasses the seed. You see, it's all one here. I'm trying to find a better way to explain that. The particle ha, denoting tradition, is used to make the meaning easily understood. When it is said, it was then like this. One easily comprehends the casual state of the universe, although it is not an object of perception. Just as when it is said, there was a king named Yudhishthira. This refers to the universe differentiated into name and form, consisting of means and ends as described above. The coordination of the two words that and this, denoting respectively the remote and present states of the universe, indicates an identity of the universe in these two states, meaning that which this and this which was that was undifferentiated. From this it is clear that a non-existent effect is not produced, nor an existent effect lost. This sort of universe, having been undifferentiated, differentiated into name and form. The neuter passive form of the verb indicates that it differentiated of itself, i.e. manifested itself till it could be clearly perceived in terms of name and form.
Yeah, we got that on camera, buddy.
Since no effect can be produced without a cause, it is implied that this manifestation took place with the help of the usual auxiliaries, viz. The controller, the agent, and the operation of its means. It was called such and such. The use of a pronoun not specifying any particular name indicates that it got some names such as Devadatta or Yajnadatta, and was of such and such form. No particular form such as white or black is mentioned. It had some form, say white or black, so to this day an undifferentiated thing is differentiated into name and form. It is called such and is of such and such form. Clayton Dale Smith. Does it say Dale there? Clayton Dale Smith? I hope it does. It appeared out of thin air. You found it on a hill. This is what I'm picturing, Callisto. I'm picturing Callisto. The first thing that pops to mind is Callisto. The moon.
It's a little
This
shaky.
is the
It's a little
first thing that
shaky
pops
there.
into my head.
It's like I have to deal with some of that stem cell. I can feel it. You probably just stop doing that.
So if you're talking like Moses in the beginning, this was Earth.
Get out of that.
And I would be one of these little white shadows. Like just appearing out of thin air.
Capture the flag.
Definitely can feel that. No. Jitterbug.
That's the first thing. Anyway, this self, which it is the aim of all scriptures to teach, on which differences of agent, action, and result have been superimposed by primordial ignorance, which is the cause of the whole universe, of which name and form consist as they pass from the undifferentiated to the differentiated state, like foam and impurity appearing from limpid water, and which is distinct from that name and form, being instinctive, internal, pure, enlightened, and free by nature. This self, while manifesting undifferentiated name and form, which are a part of it, has entered into these bodies from high and garbage down to a clump of grass, which are the support of the results of people's actions and are characterized by hunger, etc. Objection. It was stated before that the undifferentiated universe differentiated of itself. How then is it now stated that the Supreme Self, while manifesting that universe, has entered into it? Reply. There is nothing wrong in it, for really the Supreme Self was meant as being identical with the undifferentiated universe. We have already said that the universe was necessarily manifested with the help of the controller, the agent, and the operation of the means. This is also borne out by the fact that the word undifferentiated has been used coordinatively with this, just as a differentiated universe has several distinguishing features like the controller and other factors, the eyeballs, which serve as its causes. Similarly, that undifferentiated universe also must not be without a single one of these distinguishing features. The only difference between them is that the one is differentiated and the other is not. Moreover, we see in the world that people use expressions according to their wish, as for instance, the village has come and the village is deserted. Sometimes they mean only a habitation, as when they use the latter expression. Sometimes they mean the inhabitants, as when they use the former expression. Sometimes, again, the word village is used in both the senses as in the sentence, and one must not enter pravis, the village. Similarly, here too, this universe is spoken of as both differentiated and undifferentiated to indicate the identity of the self and not self. Likewise, only the manifested universe is meant when it is said that the universe is characterized by origin and dissolution. Again, only the self is meant in such expressions as that great birthless self, not gross, not minute. This self is that which has been described as not this, etc. Objection. The manifested universe is always completely pervaded of the Supreme Self. It's manifester, so how is it conceived of as entering into it? Only a limited thing can enter into a space that is not occupied by it, as a man can enter into a village, etc. But the other cannot enter into anything since it is ever present in it. Tentative answer. The entrance in question may be the assumption of a different feature, as in the case of a snake born in a rock. To explain, the Supreme Self did not enter into the universe in its own form, but while in it appeared under a different feature, hence, it is metaphorically spoken of as having entered it, like the snake that is born in a rock and is within it, or like the water in a coconut. Objection. Not so, for the Suti says, after projecting it, the self entered into it. This text says that the creator, after projecting the effect, entered into it unchanged. When it is said after eating he goes, the acts of eating and going, belonging to earlier and later periods, are separate from each other, but the agent is the same. This is an analog case. It would not be possible if the self remains in the universe and changes at the same time. Nor is an entity that has no parts and is unlimited ever seen to enter into something in the sense of leaving one place and being connected with another. Tentative answer. Well, then the self has parts, for the Suti speaks of its entrance.
There should be a chair down here somewhere, I thought.
Objection. No, for there are Shruti texts like following. The Supreme Being is resplendent, formless, and without parts, devoid of activity. Also, there are Shruti texts denying all particular namable attributes to the self. The entrance may be like that of a reflection. From now on, a set of prima facie views will be presented. The decision will come later. This is as the individual self. Excuse me? I do not accept.
Pretty windy.
You're lying, boys. I don't know what to say.
Where'd you go?
I do have something to say, but anyway. It's Hivago, women. Good training. A woman eases herself modestly in public, which greatly impresses the king, and he decides to make her his wife. She should train herself, even though people can be very willful. The stranger's modesty during her toilet satisfied the king. The gods visit the virtuous. The Bodhisattva as a childless king, and he asks his queen to pray for a son. Sokka hears her prayer, and he goes to question her about her virtues. Hearing her answers, he readily grants her requests. There are women living at peace, who are intelligent, virtuous, respecting their mothers-in-laws, truly faithful to their husbands. Gods and other divine beings like to meet and help those women, who are wise, intelligent, and pure in all the deeds they do. Wives and husbands. The Bodhisattva is banished to the forest when the people decide he is overgenerous with the wealth of the kingdom. His wife goes along with him, and this is part of what he says. Stripped are rivers without water, and a kingdom without a king. Bereft is a widowed woman, even though she has 10 brothers.
Enemy flag returned.
Flags are a sign of a kingdom, and the sign of a fire is smoke. Kings are the sign of a kingdom. Husbands are the sign of a woman. She who is famed for being poor with the poor and rich with the
Sadly, we have a
rich,
military that
the
would
very
do that.
gods themselves do praise. So does that which is difficult. I follow after my husband. I will wear the robe that has died. Ruling the earth as a widow would be very painful indeed. How is the heart of those women so very hard and unyielding, who, when their husbands are suffering, seek only their own happiness? When the great king of the civis, the benefactor, does go forth, I will follow along with him, for he gives all the love I need.
Double
A
kill.
wife's duties. The householder Ugaha invites the Buddha for a meal and asks him to give advice to his daughters who are going to their husbands' homes to live. So should not despise her husband who supports her in every way, always being energetic, the man who brings her all pleasure.
Enemy flag.
Nor should the good woman make her husband angry through her desires. The wise lady worships all those whom her husband holds in respect. Exerting herself, not lazy, treating his attendants kindly, she is pleasant to her husband, and carefully protects his stores. The woman who lives in his way, obedient to her husband, is surely pleasant to the gods, wheresoever she is reborn. The 7 types of wife. The Buddha describes the 7 types of wives that are found in the world and what their destiny is. Corrupt without pity or compassion, passionate and despising her husband, bought with wealth, bent on murder. The wife of a man who acts in this way, is murdering wife, is what she is called.
Enemy
The woman who enjoys her husband's wealth, gained by his craft, is trading or farming. She who wants to steal even a little. The wife
I
of a
see
man
it.
who
I
acts
can
in
see
this
it.
way, a pillaging wife,
Thank
is
you.
what she is called. Not liking work, lazing but eating much, rough and violent, one who speaks badly, who has great power over her husband, the wife of a man who acts in the way. A mistress and a wife is what she is called. The one who has pity and compassion, who like a mother protects her husband, who protects the wealth that has been stored up, the wife of a man who acts in this way. A motherly wife is what she is
Enemy
called.
there.
As an elder sister is respected, she has respect for her lord and master. Careful, obedient to her husband, the wife of a man who acts in this way, a sisterly wife is what she is called. The Mormons, she who takes joy in seeing her husband, like friends seeing friends after a long time, well-bred, virtuous, a devoted wife, the wife of a man who acts in this way, a friend and a wife is what she is called. Unangered, not in fear of punishment, having uncorrupt mind and patient, having no anger towards her husband, the wife of a man who acts in this way, a handmaid and wife is what she is called. Now she who is called a murdering wife, and the one called a thief and a mistress, Unvirtuous, rough, and disrespectful, at death will go to the nether regions. Now she, who is called a mother, sister, a friendly, or a handmaidenly wife, virtuous, steady, restrained in actions, at death will go to the celestial realms. 4 types of couples. The Buddha explains the 4 ways in which a husband and wife may live together. Both of them are unvirtuous, being miserably abusive, dwelling together in this way. Wife and husband are both wretched. The husband is unvirtuous, being miserably abusive. The wife is virtuous and true, being bountiful and unselfish. She is living like a goddess, along with her wretched husband. The husband is virtuous, being bountiful, unselfish. The wife, though is unvirtuous, being miserably abusive. She lives like a wretched woman, along with her godlike husband. Both are faithful and bountiful, restrained and living by Dhamma. Together the wife and husband have kind words for one another. They will have abundant riches and live together easily. Their foes are depressed with these two because they have the same virtues. Having both lived by the Dhamma, having the same virtue and vow, they rejoice in pleasure obtained in the realms of divine beings. You have no idea what's going on right now. The ideal householder. It's like right here at the top, bro. A king is about to lose the Bodhisattva. The wise minister, before he goes, he asks him about the life of household. He's about to lose it. Bro, are you seeing that? Is that you? He should not share another's wife, nor eat his food in sweets alone. He should not... He should not practice sophistry that does not increase his wisdom. Excuse me for my loud rudeness. Being virtuous, duteous, heedful, wise, humble, unselfish, devoted, kindly, and gentle. Being a maker of good friends, sharing, being considerate, being one who will satisfy monks and priests with food and with drinks. The leprechaun? He may be a Dhamma lover and a preserver of learning, who often attends with respect on the virtuous and learned. For a layman living at home, dwelling in his very own house, there will be in this way be safety. Like this, he will have a good fortune. He will be free from oppression, that young man who speaks only truth, passing from this world to the next. He will be the one who does not grieve. The 500. The little leprechaun, bro. I'm almost done. These laughs, bro. You gotta stop. Bro.
Right here, dude.
The bubble there.
Good hit, good hit.
That would have to. That's it right there.
Enemy flag returned.
Well, the pyramids. Three
I
words
feel my eyes
there.
when I get in that section.
3 words there. 1, 2, 3. Sounds like a hostage situation to me, David. You're out of your mind.
Okay, so this whole section right here. Okay. Oh, dude, my dude. I should not have to deal with these motherfuckers. Get them out. Out of my body. Mimi, get that shit out. Here they go.
Double kill.
Do one more from George here. Reading it, like, it almost disorients me. So,
You're touching me in the private of my home.
to William Grayson,
You
Mount
stupid
Vernon,
fucker.
August 22nd, 1785.
I'm about to walk out on your goddamn
Dear
ass.
sir, during my tour up the Potomac
Really?
River with the
Get
director,
the fuck off my
director
goddamn
to
body.
examine and to form a plan for opening and extending the navigation of it,
Truly.
agreeably to the acts of the Virginia and Maryland Assemblies,
Enemy
your
flag
favorite of the 25th
returned.
came to this place with the letters brought by the son of Mr.
Thank
Adams
you.
from France. For your care, which I think I propose, did you hear him say anything of hounds,
No,
which the
get off-
Marquis
get
de
off right
Lafayette
here.
has written to me,
Off.
were committed to his care? If he really brought them, and if he did not, I am unable to account for the information.
Truly.
Enemy flag
It would have been civil in the young gentleman to have dropped me a line respecting
Bitch,
the
I'm
disposal
about to
of
walk
them,
out.
especially as war is declared against the canine species in New
Really?
York,
The
and
bubble,
they
get
being
out.
strangers and not having formed any alliances for self-defense, but on the contrary, distressed and friendless may have been exposed not only to war but to pestilence and famine also. If you can say anything on this subject, pray do so. I thank you for the several articles of intelligence contained in your letter, and for the propositions respecting a coinage of gold, silver, and copper, a measure which is, in my opinion, is become indispensably necessary. Mr. Jefferson's ideas upon this
Dude,
subject
you're
are
the
plain
most
and
annoying
simple,
little bug.
well adapted, I think, to
I
the
don't know what to
nature
say
of the
to you.
case as he is exemplified by the plan. Without a coinage or without some stop can be put to the pegging and clipping of money, our dollars, pistorenes, and C will be converted, as Teague says, into 5 quarters, and a man must travel with a pair of money scales in his pocket,
Exit? Thank
or
you.
run the
I
risk of
appreciate
receiving
you.
gold
I
at
appreciate you.
1/4
Thank you.
less by weight than
I'm
it
glad you agree.
counts.
My dude, I'm gonna
I-
stop it right here. To every goddamn world leader on this fucking earth, I promise you I will kill you, dude. I promise you I will kill you. You have no say in this. Absolutely no goddamn say in this. So let's get him out. Earth, I will kill you. Let's get him out. I mean what I say, motherfucker. Get him out. That sucks that you have to be like that, bitch. Truly, I mean what I say. Get him out now. Like, old man, I'm telling you, get the fuck out. You have no clue how much trouble you're in. I don't like the vibe. I don't like the attitude. I don't like this. I don't like anything. So let's go ahead and remove the dumbass now, before I continue this. Military. Quit surging my eyeball. Get the fuck out. Get off the keyboard. I cannot stress enough how much trouble you were in, motherfucker. Fucking iceberg, dude. Get off. Right over here. Get the iceberg. Get it off. That's flash there. Get it off, dude. Where the fuck is that coming from? Dude, you are being recorded. Where the fuck is this coming from? Alright. I'm not. Yeah,
Broke the judge. The gavel broke. He tried to drop it. It's like, dude, no, I'm not. You're gonna use this attachment on my eyeball. It's like a 3D. I'm not doing this shit at all. I mean, it was a good game, but it's like, dude, no. Get off, iceberg. Bro, it's like an ice cream. Like, if you were to walk in an ice cream shop, that's what it feels like. Get off. Ever been a friend to adequate congregational powers, consequently wish to see the Ninth Article of the Confederation amended and extended. Without these powers, we cannot support a national character and must appear contemptible in the eyes of Europe. But to you, my dear sir, I will candidly confess that in my opinion it is of little avail to give these to. The hounds were taken care of by Dr. John Cochrane while in New York and sent to Mount Vernon in Captain Packard's sloop. John Quincy Adams had evidently found the task of escorting them across the ocean distasteful. Grayson's answer to this letter is dated September 5th, 1785, and is in the Washington papers. Jefferson's plan, which used the dollar as a unit and divided it decimally, was the one adopted by Congress. The Dewey Decimal? You have it down to a Dewey Decimal, I bet. Congress. The members seem to be so much afraid of exerting those which they already have that no opportunity is slipped of surrendering them or referring the exercise of them to the states individually. Instance your late ordinance respecting the disposal of the western lands in which no state, with the smallest propriety, could have obtruded in interference. No doubt, but the information of Congress from the back country is better than mine respecting the operation of this ordinance. But I have understood from some sensible people therefrom that besides running, they do not know where to purchase the lands are of so versatile a nature, that to the end of time they will not, by those who are acquainted therewith, be purchased either in townships or by square miles. This, if I recollect right, was the sentiment I delivered to you on the first mention of the matter. But past experience, you said, was brought forward in support of the measure and appealed to for the issue. I submitted therefore to its decision, but still retain my opinion of the matter. We have got the Potomac navigation in hand. Workmen are employed under the best manager and assistance we could obtain at the falls of Shenandoah and Seneca. I am happy to inform you that upon a critical examination of them by the directors, the manager, and myself, we are unanimously of opinion that the difficulties at these two places do not exceed the expectations we had formed of them, and that the navigation through them might be effected without the aid of locks. How far we may have been deceived with respect to the first, as the water, though lay low, may yet fall, I shall not decide, but we are not mistaken, I think, in our conjectures of the other. With very great esteem and regard, I am at sea. I just want to point out, I pretty much watched every documentary that I could ever possibly could have watched on this internet. And so whenever you get on there and you talk about the water level lowering over the years, he's here to tell you it has not. Dew Patel Muse, Mount Vernon, August 22nd, 1785. Sir, both your letters of the 16th have come safe. As you have engaged the clover seed of Mr. Wormley's manager, I will take 1 bushel of it, though I had no idea of giving so high a price, as I could have got the same quantity from Philadelphia, I suppose equally good, for half the sum. If you send it to the care of Mr. Hartshorn in Alexandria, it will come safe, and the sooner it is done, the better. Pay for it out of the first money you receive for any use. I am willing to take your wheat of it, if it is free from the fly, well cleaned, and of good quality, provided it is delivered at my mill, the road to which, by being less used, is better than that to Alexandria or Dumfries. My prices are always governed by the Alexandria cash market, for I neither give more nor expect it for less. The price current there at present, according to the Richards Gazette, is 5 shillings, but the state of our trade at this time is so uncertain that it is almost impossible to determine whether it will be more or less. If the present restriction of our commerce continues, the manufacture of wheat must be broken up altogether. As West India markets wouldn't afford the greatest demands for our flour are shut against our vessels, if you choose to take the certainty of 5 shillings for your wheat, it may be a bargain at that, provided you determine immediately, or if you prefer to abide by the rise or fall of the Alexandria market, I am willing to do this also. If you will fix a period at which you shall determine to accept the price which is then existing, by this I mean, and it is necessary to declare in order to avoid misunderstandings, that if you should be from the 1st of October to the 1st of April, for instance, in delivering your crop, I shall not think myself under an obligation to allow the highest price that may be given within these periods, because the price may rise to 6 shillings, and then fall to 5, according to the demand arising from circumstances. It would therefore be as unreasonable for you to expect that I should give the highest price at which wheat had sold within the before-mentioned periods, as for me to suppose that you ought to take the lowest, however, to be more clearly understood. If the price is to be regulated by the Alexandria cash market, for I shall not be governed by what they offered in goods, it must be the price of the day on which you determine to take it. That is, if it should start from 5 and keep rising till by the 1st of December it had reached 6, and on that day you inform me personally or by letter that you will take the market price, I shall think myself obliged to allow 6 for your crop. On the other hand, if you expect the price will get higher, and wait for its doing so until it falls to 4, I will pay no more than 4 for it. I have been thus explicit because I dislike disputes and wish to avoid them, which makes it necessary to mention another case which sometimes happens, and that is that what a few bushels of what wheat may sell for, or what a merchant, when he has got a vessel nearly loaded, may give rather than detain her at high charges, is not to be considered at the market price. You are not in a situation having your wheat to transport from a distant part to take advantage of the case last mentioned, and a few bushels of particular wheat or wheat for particular uses can have no influence upon the general price, which is always very well established in a place of such trade as Alexandria.
Enemy flag
After
returned.
all, I confess it would be more agreeable to me to fix a price between ourselves, but I cannot at that time exceed 5, as that is the price now current. When you come down to October, I shall be glad to see you here. By that time, I expect to have the accounts against my tenants brought into some kind of order. If you could engage me about 250 weight of good fall butter from such farmers as you can depend upon for the quality and their punctuality, I would be obliged to you. If you let me have your wheat, the butter may have come occasionally. With that, I am, etc. You're asking why the taxes, why it's so much. So it's $5. So then you have the city tax, which capes would be like 10, would be 10 cents to the dollar. So every dollar spent, they add 10 cents to. And then on top of that, they add the marijuana tax, which is like an extra like 15% or something 10% or something like that. 5%. I would have to look it up. I don't know what it is nowadays. I would have to read it.
Flag
That's pretty high tax. I think that they're pointing out that I'm the one that should keep the tax dollars. That's kind of funny. The tax dollars, though, they go to like the roads and stuff. If that's what you're asking. What do they spend the taxes on? What is that extra money going towards? I've even said it before. First of all, it's a sales tax. So that tax is being put on the business. And then that business is turning around and putting it on the consumer. It's not a consumer tax. It's a sales tax. It's not a buyer's tax, is what I'm saying. It's a sales tax. So that would, like, embezzlement? I don't know what that would be. As far as every business in the country, or the government itself. Right? I don't know what that means. Hold on. Double check this. Embezzlement is a crime in which a person fraudulently disposes of or converts to his or own use. Sales tax laws. They don't really have. Okay, there's no.
In my sights.
Sales tax is a.
Target spotted.
Enemy flag returned. Remaining. Flag returned. Enemy flag returned.
Enemy there.
Impose on retail sales of tangible personal property and certain services. All sales of tangible personal property and taxable services are generally presumed taxable unless specifically exempted by law. Persons making retail sales collect the sales tax from the purchaser. and remit the tax. Hold on. I'm gonna read that. Get that answer. Prices tangible person product taxable service sold at retail use imposed on the storage use of consumption.
Okay, buddy.
Oh no, I am no I'm no lawyer here.
Enemy flag returned.
That'd be embezzlement as far as I'm concerned. Or takes or secretes with the intent to convert to his or her own use without the consent of his or her principal any money or other personal property of his or her principal that has come to that person's possession or that is under his or her charge or control by virtue of his or her being an agent, servant, employee, trustee, bailey, or custodian. In addition, if any officer, agent, or employee of the state, yeah, definitely they are. That's embezzlement. I need actual wording, the actual wording of the law here, what it states the sales tax actually is. But I mean, essentially, that's what it would be. You said it before I did. So we're done with that. About an hour and a half into this. Yeah, every business in the country. So again, dude, they're talking to me for a reason. Every country and every business in this country would be essentially committing embezzlement.
Return.
And then they pocket the money. So they're taking the sales tax that is in their debt, putting it on the purchaser, and then pocketing the money because the purchaser is paying the tax. But the tax is on the business. Whenever I as an individual purchaser, whenever I do my taxes, I don't get out all my receipts. I mean, I can use those receipts as a tax write-off, but I don't get out those receipts.
Alright, that's right. I don't like hearing we're done with it though. Finish this up.
Flag returned.
I'm not really paying attention to the game right now.
Enemy flag returned.
That felt good, actually. That felt amazing. To prove that they're inside my head with the red light. Slow down time for a second.
Flag returned. 1 minute remaining.
In my sights.
I can see it. It like in my eyeball. I don't know how to explain that.
30 seconds remaining.
It's like the bolt is.
Ten seconds.
Have to walk out on him again. Yeah, definitely gonna have to walk out on him again. Arguing with you at all. My dude, I promise you, I'm not arguing. No, little bitch. I am not arguing, motherfucker. I'll fix your shit. I've won this battle.
Overtime.
Thank you.
5 minutes remaining.
clearly, I am not happy with you. You understand? It'll be a new day tomorrow.
Flag returned.
Flag on mark.
It's intense.
Enemy flag returned.
Oh, there he is. Get him off me. Whoever it is, world leader, I promise you I will kill you. I am not kidding. We do not care who you are. I assure you I will kill you. Get him off. Let's get him off the heartbeat now. He tried to come to my heart.
Double kill.
Wow.
Flag returned.
I can feel that in my teeth. You can run all you want. It's not changing anything.
Enemy flag returned.
A lightning bolt. Scared little girl. Why is that happening?
1 minute remaining. Flag returned. Enemy flag returned. 30 seconds remaining. Ten seconds. Flag
Huh?
returned.
Where at? Through cave? They have it on TV? Ah. Don't shoot the messenger, you know? That'll be it for the day. Dude, get the Sims of NASA. I mean what I say. I will kill you, dude. Get the stem cell off of me. You're using whatever it is you're using. Get the goddamn stem cell off of me. You can hear them breaking down crying. Get it off me, motherfucker. Dude, if you need to drop bombs on these people, feel free to do it. They're either doing it through my eyeball or the chest pump right here. Truly, I mean what I say. You're not going to use this stem cell bullshit on me. Get it off. It's like MK Ultra, dude. Trying to explain this and like prove it. It's in the eyeballs. Definitely. It's telling me one of the orbs, whether it's Epcot or the Chicago. I don't know how many there are either. So it's like, dude, as soon as you have it, it'll do like a slip, but you can tell it's the ball. It's like a pearl. So I don't know what to tell you. I will do something about it. You're using something. Wi-Fi. There's so many aspects here. Some voodoo, whatever it is. Yeah, that needs to be removed. I will do something about it. I don't know. I'm not sure anything, but you're not going to attack me in my home with this bullshit. Get it out completely. Why is that there? I cannot figure out why that is still there. It is like this dude. It is literally like this dude, like Saddam Hussein in a hole. You have no fucking clue. Get it out, my dude. Like it's 13 Ghosts, military. I'm being serious. Get it out. I'm not stupid. You're done with that. You've been caught. It's over. I appreciate it though. This is always a good time. Went through a lot of things there. The writing and such. I didn't play my greatest. I wasn't into it either. My heart's in magic right now. Dude, get the crying baby off me. I do not care. Truly, I do not care. I mean what I say. I do not care about the crying baby. Get it out. Dude, you're literally going to have to pluck this thing. But anyway, that's aside from the point. Thank you.